as we're going to talk now about this Christmas market anti-white terroristic attack, we have to ask ourselves, once again, has the anti-Jew soy goying direction, ideology, movement, has it been in place? Is it brand new? Are you trying something novel? Or has that been in place for many generations? Many, many generations. And if so, if it's been in place for many, many generations, and now we've gotten to the point that we see the kind of insane news, the total, I mean, you could take an anti-white terrorist and drive through murdering white people left and right and drive through it. We can get to this point and the whole establishment is like, yeah, we'll put up a few more concrete. How? Thought your method was so successful. Everybody's got to do it, or they need to be slandered and doxxed and etc. Same holds true for the cucking out there, the white cucks. They will abstractionize. They will, like I said in one of my tweets, they're going to blame what happened in potentially in Germany on hiring that wasn't merit-based. The guy literally, clearly, according to my reading, but of course, YouTube is monitoring everything I say, so I don't know for sure. But in my opinion, based on what I read, he hated white people, and he considers accurately, correctly, that Germany is the white people. Those are the real Germans. That's why he mowed them down. You know, he didn't go to some non-white part of town full of paper Germans. Why didn't he go there? No, he was going to get revenge as an anti-white, and we're going to get onto it here in just a minute. He was going to get revenge on Germany. He literally said, Germany will pay. Where did he go? Did he go after the paper Germans? Where they have ghettoized and their streets are literally full, like in Kabul, like in these different places around the world. The street cars can barely drive because there's so many people in the streets, because there's so much more communal. He could have just mowed them down. Wonder why he didn't. But somehow we've gotten to this point with all of these great white cuck ideas, pretend it's anything else other than the victimization of white people, as well as all of this just say it's the Jew nonsense. Just blame the Jews. And then when you say, gee, that doesn't work, right? Look, it doesn't work. Their immediate response is, what are you, a Jew? I mean, are you tired of white people being mowed down with anti-white terrorism yet? Are you tired? I think a 9-year-old died. Are you not furious yet? Are you not ready to do something? Because there's a lot that you can do here successfully to change the world so that that kind of thing stops. Action. Winning the conversation. Not complaining about anti-white Jews or all Jews. Dai Shaddai is here. Joshua is here over on the live chat. Janitor of White Noir is here. Over on the live chat. Let's go ahead and pull this up so we can have a look and dig into the reality and the consequences of all of the other ideologies and vehicles out there for the recapture of, I guess, just our countries. Christmas market attack. Is that what it was? Is that what it was? Just a Christmas market attack? You looked on some of these, and this is the Israel First Breitbart platform. And you hear them say things like, it was a van. It was a truck attack. Are you tired of our people being murdered and the media talking about it like that? Well, there's something you can actually do. Changes you can make in yourself that will improve your life. Christmas market attack suspect was a Saudi Arabian leftist asylum activist. So is that what he was? No. People in this community know. Champions in this community know. Apostles know that this was anti-white terrorism. Why isn't everybody calling this anti-white terrorism? We are the people. Do you not care more about our people being harmed than the race of the attacker? What pair of legs he passed through? Do you not care more about our people run over and their bodies broken and their organs liquefied? Do you not care more about them? The suspected perpetrator of the Magdeburg Christmas market attack was reportedly an asylum seeker activist. Okay, so initially, first, this story came out, and what were all of the white cucks saying? If they were gonna be edgy, they were gonna say it's anti-Christian. It's only anti-Christian because Christianity is white. That's always been the case. Black Christianity will be fine, as long as they're not around white people. Hispanic Christianity, fine, as long as they're not around white people. So much so, we live in such an anti-white state of affairs that an actual would-be anti-white terrorist was celebrated and interviewed by the BBC, the anti-white BBC. Why isn't everyone, especially on X, right? So much free speech on X. Why isn't everybody talking about how this is an anti-white terroristic attack? That this guy was an anti-white terrorist? Update. Prosecutors have announced that the suspect has been charged with 5 counts of murder and 200 counts of attempted murder. 200 people. I don't know how many of them are maimed and how many more are not only physically maimed, but psychologically maimed. But you don't care about them if you're busy complaining about blacks or Jews or Arabs, do you? You don't care about them. You're just thinking about yourself. Could have been you. Could have been you there. So, them Arabs gotta go because it could have been me. Right? We're not going to live. White race, we're not going to survive. Not only are we not going to recapture our destiny, but in the very near future, things are going to get incredibly, remarkably ugly for us. Not going to survive. And here I will have been shouting my ass off with goddamn 100 people showing up. Still showing up for your benefit, to help you out so you know how to see this and understand the world and can protect your loved ones for the good of our people. Man, that no white guilt guy, man, he's such a joke. Nobody shows up over there. Should be, if you had any class, pig, if you had any class, you would say, what a commitment. What an honorable man. What a hero to be emulated. After decades, you think he'd throw in the fucking towel. But this is how much he loves us. This is how much he actually self-sacrifices and cares about me personally and our people. What a hero that is to do that. He ain't getting rich. He hasn't been made a millionaire. He doesn't get the aggrandizement of 30,000 people to show up, 50,000 people to show up. There are no sponsors reaching in. There are no angel donors like Fuentes has showing up to finance everything for him. And yet he still shows up. He still busts his balls. He shares his life. And like I said, I've made decisions over the course of my life so that it would be tranquil and placid enough, sacrificing myself, swallowing indignities, so that I would have a life stable enough to be able to help all of you. Who else can say that? And the thanks I get is the slanders, the calumny, the canards. Classless race. Better than no one. They revealed that one of the slain victims was a 9-year-old child and that 41 were seriously injured. Therefore, the death count may continue to rise. Senior public prosecutor Horst Walter Nopens said that the suspect acted alone and said of his motive, according to the current situation, the background could have been dissatisfaction with the treatment of Saudi Arabian refugees in Germany, close quote. So, white people, do you understand? White people, you weren't doing enough for non-whites, so you deserve to die. White people, this guy wasn't a Muslim. First they were saying, well, he was a Muslim. This was a Muslim attack. Then he ends up just being run-of-the-mill anti-white. So it's not an anti-white Muslim, just a basic bitch anti-white saying Germany is not doing enough for his race, for his people. Wouldn't it be nice to have a people? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be grand to actually have a people? All the way down to some malfunctioning anti-white terrorist trying to help more of his people come to the promised land until there are no more Germans, i.e. white people, and then it's not promised land anymore, trying to help them all show up. And then when the white people aren't doing enough and doing it fast enough, he decides he's going to go kill a bunch of them, kill their children. We're the only people talking about the victims. According to reports, the Saudi Arabian man arrived in Germany in 2006 after allegedly So our goodwill, our hospitality, our grace, our love, we stick our hand out to our brothers and the rest of humanity. And we're like, come away. You want to be out of that horrid place? You're going to be persecuted because you don't practice that religion they practice there. Come to our home. And in response of bringing this anti-white animal into our home, he kills us. You're not doing enough. He was granted asylum in Germany in 2016 and has been living in the town of Bernburg near Magdeburg, where he worked as a psychiatrist. After moving to Germany, the suspect reportedly established a service to assist other asylum seekers move to Germany. Wouldn't it be nice to have a people? Nexus Moon is asking about a bunker mentality. You'll have to give clarification about what bunker you're talking about. Mestizo Carf says, getting stronger both mentally and physically with no white guilt. The great Mestizo Carf. We with you in the white well-being community stand with you, says Samuski. God bless you, brother. And I take it as the remainder of my life's work to work for exactly that, the well-being of our people. God bless you for what you do. God bless you for that public commitment, good sir. Real hero there. Nameless One is here. Good to see you. After moving to Germany, now remember, escaping death. You'd think you'd go around thanking every white person you come across. The suspect established a service to assist asylum seekers move to Germany for his work. He was profiled in several media outlets, from FAZ to BBC, to promote his mission for human rights in Saudi Arabia. The BBC noted in 2019 that he focused on helping ex-Muslims flee from Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region, with a particular focus on helping the women to get out of Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region. In an interview with FAZ during the same year, Talib proclaimed, this is the anti-white terrorist, alleged until, I guess, found guilty, proclaimed that he was, quote, the most aggressive critic of Islam in history, which would make him laudable to all of the white cucks. You can see all the white cucks now celebrating this guy, claiming that he was ostracized from the Muslim community in Germany over his atheism. In the article, he also detailed his move to become a pro-asylum seeker activist in Germany. Okay, first of all, that should be illegal. Let's just say Germany isn't already full of people that all have to go home. Let's just say. And let's just say that Talib Al-A, which is his name, Al-A, I don't know how you pronounce that name, A, but let's just say that we let him in because he was going to be murdered, and we thought, well, that's, we could let him in because that's pretty awful. It should be illegal for these people to turn right around and say, let me bring more of my own kind in. I grew up with a lot of wonderful people from India. All backgrounds. I grew up in Northern Virginia. All of them, none of them that I met were just focused on, none of them were selfish, individualistic people like whites. Not a single one that I met talked and acted like they were all that matters, and the family that they make was all that matters. Every single one of them, everyone, acted, lived their extended family, the extended family, and the racial family. Everyone that I met, they were always talking about the second cousins, the third cousins, the first cousins, who's being brought over from India next. Always should be illegal. An editor's note attached to the article following him being identified as the suspected Magdeburg attacker, FAZ wrote, this interview with Talib Al-A was published in June 2019. Entries of the alleged assassin in the social media indicate that he has also been increasingly quarreling with Germany and its migration policy over the 5.5 years since. There are also signs. So what they're trying to say is, our fellow traveler here, FAZ is saying, hey, the FAZ is anti-white, Talib is anti-white, our fellow traveler here, oh, no, we're going to distance ourselves now. No, they had the exact same ideology. The anti-whites at FAZ loved that this guy was doing all he could to open the doors to the billion Middle Easterners to come into Europe. They love that. Why? Because there's an anti-white outcome. Now they're trying to distance themselves. There are also signs of persecution delusion. Really? You mean every single anti-white? Because every single anti-white lives with the delusion that they are being persecuted. Every single one does. They can look at a Donald Trump cabinet and say that it's for the white man. It's for the white race. It's going to victimize all of these non-white people, and it's going to victimize all of these transgenders and all of these homosexuals and all of the women. They can say that even though it's the most female and non-white cabinet in history. How can they say that? White guy in charge. The anti-white narrative is a delusion.
Hi, my name is Talib.
Those Talib here, those are the eyes of an anti-white terrorist. Those are the eyes of a monster, if convicted, that mass murdered white people with the goal of murdering far more, the goal of murdering and killing far more. Being portrayed as the innocent by the BBC, the anti-white media.
I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm an activist. I created a website to help people seeking asylum, especially from Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region.
What's the message here? White people, you need to let them pour in. You need to let them pour in from around the world until you don't have a country anymore. Until your selfishly individualistic white cuck asses don't have a country or a place to live in. You don't have a Christmas market. Are you fucking kidding me? You're not even going to have peace in your homes year round. You've got to let them in because they do awful things in the rest of the world. There are awful things happening in the rest of the world. So feel white guilt. Be white guilted. Lower your defenses. Let them all in. And it's been working. It works magnificently. The white cuck conservative position that has contended with this embraces it more and more. We can go all the way back to the 1980s when were you even alive? When Ronald Reagan was president and he amnestied shit tons. More and more, your white cuck defense is the embracing of all the anti-whiteism, the embracing of the white guilt, the embracing of the anti-white moral imperative. And gee, I wonder with all of the anti-Jew soy going on, how we ended up with this Talib in Germany. How could that happen? With him opening the gates to Saudi Arabia and then deciding it's not happening fast enough. Since then, Talib became increasingly critical of the German government and its migration agenda, accusing Berlin of promoting the Islamicization of Europe. He appears to have been particularly angered over the acceptance of the Syrian jihadists compared to... So, I want you to pay close attention. This guy who has a personal grievance, he might be attracted to men, and that's what his problem was back home in Saudi Arabia, whatever. And he was seeing more and more of Arabs show up that were practitioners of Islam. And therefore, he was facing what? Home. Why home? I mean, they're now on German soil. Everything's better now, right? Everything's white if you just show up in one of our countries. No, he saw the writing on the wall that he was going to be subjected to the exact same conditions by those people that they exhibit back home. And guess what? we are subjected to the exact same conditions, proclivities, behaviors, etc., as they exhibit back home. And guess what? It's not just from the religion. Talib proved that. Talib proved it's not just a religious phenomenon to commit massive acts of terrorism. While much media attention in the wake of the attack has focused on statements Talib made in support of the populist right-wing AFD party over, and no, they're not going to save us, over its critiques of Islamic immigration, and then look at this AFD, how ass backwards. They have their head up their asses. All about critiquing Islamic immigration. You know what's not going to happen? Islamic immigration is not going to be stopped by critiquing Islamic immigration. No. And you're running out of time, white cucks. You're running out of time. Every day, another grain of sand falls through that hourglass. You're running out of time. You have a white race who is primed by these conditions, ripe and ready to become a people and to defend itself against its victimization. But you are ass backward, head up your ass, blowing it. And the people who will speak the truth, oddly slandered by the soy goys, doxed by the soy goys, silenced on X. I got 30,000 followers. I can tweet and get 400 views. I asked X specifically, how is that possible? Don't know. Don't know. Maybe you're using words that other people don't use, except we are using words that we all in this community use. And therefore, it should be spread with every show to everyone, right? Well, then I don't know. Maybe it's because these words are deboosted by X. Maybe it's because caring about white people without wanting to harm non-white people is just a deboost. In other words, if you don't know, deboost doesn't just mean that you lose the boost. It means you get a negative boost. If you care about white people, or at least ostensibly, and therefore are deboosted, but you're a soy goy, you're anti-Jew, then you get boosted back the other direction on X. Hundreds of thousands, millions of views for those content creators. White population totally primed right now to become a people, to recapture our destiny, to put an end to our victimization, to absolutely drain our countries of decades of people that don't deserve to be here. Across the West, decades of people, my friends. We are primed for that, but they can't get the words. They can't get the concepts that liberate their minds. Because obviously YouTube is censoring the shit out of everything I say. X is censoring the shit out of everything we all say. And then the rest of the white population, they're fucking off with hero hoping and investing their time, energy, talent, and money into entertainers who prosecute a case better than they do against another group of human beings. These people don't realize, and I'm so fed up. They don't realize I'm not defending non-white people when I say don't focus on them on the basis of their birth. You jackasses. I am arguing for our liberation. Talib says, even though he said these things, he opposes the Islamicization, again, probably because he's attracted to men, said he firmly considers himself a leftist. So what does that mean? Hardcore anti-white. Not even anti-white light, hardcore anti-white. Taleb said in the interview that he was not a right-winger, described himself as a leftist to Der Spiegel as well. A German news magazine also reported that Berlin security agencies received 3 warnings from Saudi Arabia about the suspect. They were also warned following a 2023 post vowing revenge. Now, pay close attention to this. This might be it. Because you know what? I don't have like all the time in the world. Nobody is paying me. People aren't paying me to do this for a living. I do this for love. So I had to speed read things. So this might contain what I hope it does. Pay close attention. "2023 post vowing revenge against Germany. Revenge against Germany for supposed persecution of Saudi Arabian refugees. And that the country, Germany, the country, would pay a price." However, officials allegedly dismissed the statements. And isn't that interesting? The anti-whites in positions and nodes of power, they're like, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You're worried about how do we not get them to come to our houses to try to kill us? It's not going to be about complaining that it's not fair or there's a double standard. But what's important here is Taleb told you how the rest of the world functions. And knows and believes Germany and the country is the white people. He went to a Christmas market full of white people. He didn't go to one of these self-segregated areas full of non-white people because that's not Germany. He knows that. It was like when I was growing up in Northern Virginia and I had friends from everywhere, all of those friends considered white people the real Americans. The only group of non-white people that I grew up with that did not consider white people as the real Americans were the blacks, many of whom had like a chip on their shoulder, not all, but none of the blacks considered white America to be the real America. They wouldn't even talk about it. But everybody else, they seemed to know who the real America was in conversation that I spoke with. I had plenty of conversations with non-white people growing up that they knew they could come to America, they could be an American, but that the real America was white people, that America was made by white people, that America is made by white people. Same with Germany. In another post, Taleb said, quote, "I assure you, if Germany wants war, so he's using Germany and the country as a euphemism for white people. If Germany wants war, we will have it. If Germany wants to kill us, we will slaughter them. Die or proudly go to prison." This Arab anti-white said, he goes on, "Because we have exhausted all peaceful means. You haven't given in. We have only encountered more crimes from the police, the state security service, the public prosecutor's office, the judiciary, the Ministry of Interior. Peace is of no use to them." Taleb told you. You know who can? Taleb is openly telling you, but Israel First Breitbart won't tell you. The white cucks out there, the conservative movement, they won't tell you. What is this Turning Point conference going on right now? Is the cucker in charge? Is he going to tell you? I mean, Talib is telling you, he says, quote, I'm killing white people. The war is on. You won't turn over your country and your daughters and your sons to us, is how I interpret what he's saying. But the cucks won't say that, will they? There are increasing suggestions that the suspect may have suffered from some form of mental illness. And of course, the anti-whites in the media, now since he has committed an anti-white terroristic attack, they're now saying, oh, well, we now think he's crazy. When their foot soldiers, their terrorists, actually carry out horrific crime, then they say, I think he might have been a little confused. Literally, they say the word confused here, in quotes. Just like in our once great country of South Africa, every gang ritualistic rape and torture, the other one I was just reading the other day, where they were sodomizing and with a broken bottle and shoving a broken bottle and glass up inside the genitals of an aged white woman. So much so that the coroner couldn't even find the organ anymore. Those are robberies gone wrong. And yet, we've been talking about across the entire Western world about complaints about Jews. And yet that's still happening for generations and generations. God damn. At the time of this reporting, 5 have died as a result of the attack, over 200 injured, many of whom seriously. They might also die. So there you have it. You know how to talk about this. Now, the only thing I'll show you is, the only other thing I'll show you about it is this guy, regrettably, being taken into custody in a very white way. There he is. What I want to know is, where are the attack dogs? Where is the Timberland-style stomping by the authorities? Where is the, wouldn't you know it, we found out that he could not swim with 300 pounds of chain on him. Not that I would do that or that I recommend it. No one should do that. I'm just wondering why it's not happening. Look at all these white guys, fit, armed white guys, and they handle this anti-white terrorist like he's worthy of a gentle touch. We need to get mad about this. And what does getting mad here mean? It means that we focus on ourselves, our own thoughts. We use these simple, I could not make this simpler, concepts to put you in a different story with antecedents that create a thought chain to derivatives of conclusions that always lead you to a white positive conclusion, you and then everyone you use them on. That's what we should be doing.